All right. Hey, everybody. I'm joining you live right now, and we're going to be talking about the Facebook ads for a high converting webinar. So stick with me for the next 25 minutes or so. I'm going to show you exactly what we do with advertising. Okay. So I'm actually going to try to pull up the chat just in case I can see that here. So we pop that over here. My first time using this on Zoom, so bear with me a second. I apologize ahead of time. But I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go into this training here. And what this is the high converting webinar ads training. Okay, so it's how to run ads that pack your webinar room with the right people. And again, doing this without burning your budget. Something that happens often is we want to run a webinar, but we don't know exactly how to set up the ads for it or, the ads behind it. We can use, a ton of our budget. So this is a big high level view of it. Bear with me here. We're going to go right into it. Okay. So high converting, webinar ads training. And my goal today is to help you learn how to confidently run ads to fill your webinar with aligned, ready to buy leads without burning your budget or without needing to boost random posts. Because if you've been in the game of boosting posts, you probably already realized that it only takes you so far. And what ends up happening is that you look at money just kind of slowly leaving your account without really seeing it come back in through your advertising. Okay. So what we'll cover today is the simple three-part ad funnel that works, who to target even if you're just starting out, how to write, scroll stopping ad copy, creatives that convert, and we'll talk about the budgeting and the structure and optimization plan that we use with our clients too as well. Okay. So why webinar ads work. And you probably hear a lot of people doing webinars. Some are like, "Hey, webinars suck. Webinars are dead. They don't convert." Others are like, "Webinars, they're crushing in the webinars." And I firmly believe, and I heard this from one of my mentors said, a good webinar can change the trajectory of your business. And we've seen this to be true over and over again. Our business and the client, for our clients. And the reason why they work so well is typically because number one is they build authority, and they also build your email list at the same time. Now, your email list is your biggest asset. This is something you keep. You get to nurture your email, these people on your list, and they may convert right away. We want them to convert as quick as possible, but at the same time, we know that trust takes time to build in some cases, and you may convert it in the next 3, 6, 12 months. And this is where you start developing a system in place where your business has long-term scalability. Okay. So now your webinars allow you to scale your reach without burnout. When you're posting organically only, you can only reach so much. And the moment you stop, everything stops. So if you're doing a webinar, you have to post constantly, day to day. And what happens, it gets to burnout. You just feel like, I can't do this anymore. It's too much. It's too taxing. It's too time consuming. I have to really stop. Now, this warms leads you already know and trust you. So running webinars is really a quick shortcut to having more income and impact in your business, right? So the simple webinar funnel structure. First, front-end acquisition is ads. You can have ads that capture leads. They're going to go to an opt-in page. Once they get to the opt-in page, it's going to trigger for them once they sign up with the opt-in page, it'll trigger two things. It's going to trigger your thank you page, and it's also going to trigger a series of emails that go out, typically emails for reminder, things like that. Okay, so it's very simple for it. So what each page needs is very simple. So opt-in page, and this is the biggest thing. You want to have a clear promise plus a benefit-driven headline. Over and over again, I've ran, dozens and dozens of ads, hundreds of webinars at this point, and across many niches. And one thing I've noticed that your headline and the promise that someone sees the first moment they get on your page is what drives about 80% of the conversions. And we've tested this where we've only made a change to a headline in some pages, and we see that the difference in conversion, where something's maybe 15, 60% conversion rate, really low, kind of poor. Change the headline and boom, increases to 25, 30% conversion rate without changing anything else, without changing colors, without scrolling down and changing the About Me section or including any client testimonials or anything like that. That simple change alone has been responsible for so much. And I've done this for dozens of clients and even for my own pages over and over again as I tested ads for opt-ins and webinars and such. Okay. Your thank you page, it needs to do basically this exact thing here. It needs to set expectation and build anticipation. Set expectation. What does that mean? I would like for all thank you pages to have a video where you're now introducing yourself to this new lead in a way where you're thanking them for joining and you set the expectation of what they can look forward to, right? And this can look like just telling them, hey, you signed up for the training, it's going to happen on this and this date. I want you to to show up. When you show up, you're going to get this. Now they have some expectations for it, and you're also expect them to take action on certain things, maybe adding it to their calendar, or even if you have a low ticket offer at that point, that maybe you pitch them that whether it's $27 $47 offer on the thank you page, you pitch that to them and you build their anticipation, let them know that hey, again, when you attend, when you show up live, we're gonna help you achieve this result, right? You're here right now, you're gonna get here. You want to really set this expectation and build anticipations, right? Clients that work with me, I give them a short script based off of their unique business because the thing is one of the things like oh it's all cookie cutter. No, it's not. It's customized, right? We have a formula, we have a template. Now it's customized to your exact business, your exact niche, your exact offer. Okay. Now the emails, this is going to be a reminder, replay, and sales, and you want to have all this automated. Maybe you want to have about 4 to 6 reminder emails depending on the time of day it's at. If you have a webinar is going to be at nighttime, 7 p.m. Typically, you're going to have a lot more reminders. One that goes out in the morning, one that goes out midday about lunchtime, another one that goes out an hour before, 15 minutes before, when you're live now. That's like 5 emails already just on that. Then it's not too much. I promise you, it's not too much. It is not. Average open rates maybe 30 to 50%. Your audience is not seeing every single email. That's why we got to really show up a lot for this. That's how you're going to get a better show up rate. Replay emails, 48 hours to replay. This can be 3 to 4 emails that go out over 48 hours. You want to make sure because now we know this, right? You do a webinar. If you're amazing and you get a 47% show up rate, a 50% show up rate, what ends up happening is that that's still, if you have 200 leads, it's still 100 leads who never even got a chance to show up. And they fully well signed up because they know that they weren't going to make it or, one thing or other, but they're looking for a replay. They're looking to get involved in the training somehow. So we put a big focus on the replay. And then following that, we now move into the sales. And this is where you choose your open cart, right? It's going to be different for everyone. If you have a long open cart window to where, hey, you can sign up and we're going to be emailing you every day for 3 weeks. That's super long. I wouldn't recommend that. I recommend 5 to 7 days, 4 to 7 days even, where you're going to now send out these sales emails along these days. Okay. And this is something that, I'm not going to go too much into that, but there's a lot of different structures and formulas for setting up the emails. And a conversation with AI can definitely give you some ideas on what's been working for other people. Or you can chat with me and my team, and I can help you to get a good structure in place. Okay. So now, the next thing is how we really make this convert into magic that starts happening is what I'm going to get into here now when we talk about the advertising. That beginning is just essentials. You need to have those things in place before you even go run a webinar. You want to be successful. If you look at it like, our that's too much, is a lot. Well, hey, this is the process that we use, right? Either we need to mold and adapt to it, or there's other solutions, other strategies out there other than webinars. But this is the proven formula after generating over $10 million in sales for clients and even over $1 million in sales for our business, leveraging different type of webinars. Okay, so when we talk about audiences now, this is where you can have number one, cold interest-based audience. Cold interest-based audience can look like using the Advantage Plus on Facebook, which is just broad targeting. They find people for you. Specific interest. What are the websites they visit, softwares they use, things they're interested in, their hobbies and things like that. In addition to that, you have authors and magazines and books. What do they consume? Who do they follow? These are all cold interests, right? And when we think of it, for example, if you're targeting parents, um, a lot of times parents they may be involved in a variety of different things, such as education, planning, and stuff like that. And you could also choose a cold interest, parents with teenagers. Okay, parents with children, um, 0 to 3. You can have these targeting options that is all cold interest based. Okay, but the better you are at testing different ones, you're going to get better results. The next one is the warm audience. These are people who already know you, already like you, already have somewhat of a trust for you. And can be your current email list, your current Instagram or Facebook followers and engagement. It's not even on here, but there's also website visitors. There's also video views. I keep it super simple right now. at the beginning, email lists and Facebook and Instagram engagement, that's going to encompass all of that. Your Instagram and your Facebook engagement includes all the video views. It includes all those things. Okay. So, and typically if someone's going to your website from Facebook, Instagram, guess what? That audience is already included in the FB and IG engagement, okay? And then number three is lookalikes. And I put if available because lookalikes depend on these custom audiences. What a lookalike is that let's say I have an email list and I have 500 people in my email list. I know these are 500 people. I've worked years and years and years to get them. I have never run ads before. They're ideal client. I have a great open rate, etc. What we do now is saying, hey, Facebook, take my email list and I want you to go find other people who look like, let's call lookalike, who look like these, who match this. Now, Facebook has over 50,000 data points on our ideal client. They know them from head to toe in a sense, right? It's kind of scary, but they know them at a really, really great level. So they're able to match all those criteria of the people you give them on this email list and create an audience that is maybe a size of 1 to 3 or 4 or 5+ million that you can now reach with your ads. It's super powerful. Same thing goes for the Instagram engagement, Facebook engagement. You also have to test it. You also want to test to see, okay, well, which is better matching? Is the email list a better match? The FB a better match? IG a better match? Once you've done those initial testing, there's some cool strategies and kind of giving you some a little more in-depth strategies here. If you're into media buying, you're like, yes, this is good. If you're not, you're like, I'm just talking a lot. But nonetheless, you can actually take these lookalikes, stack them all together. Now you have a 1%, the top match of the email list, the top match of your IG, top match of your Facebook. Even so much, if you have one video that went super viral, you've got leads, you've got clients off of that video, you take the video views of that and you can match it to people, more people who look like that, right? Because guess what? There's millions of people who've never seen that video still, and you can match it there. Now you can stack all those together in one audience, and you have this like super lookalike audience that will perform. And I mean, I've ran some of these lookalike audiences for years. One of my clients for over 5 years now. Every single time we run an ad, every single launch, these lookalike audiences are being used. And we're constantly updating the email list, constantly updating the engagement. So guess what? These lookalikes are constantly being updated every single time, and it becomes more and more and more powerful in your business. Okay. Next thing is for to layer interest. So what I mean by this is that with cold interest here, sometimes you may have some things that are like they're very, very similar. Okay. So for example, if we're gonna let's say you're in bookkeeping or you're an accountant and you want to target people who have QuickBooks. Well, there's other accounting and bookkeeping software that well, there's a crossover, right? So like 50% of people who like QuickBooks are also the 50% of people who like those. So what we do is we combine it all together now. We layer those interests together. Same thing with authors, for example. If we're gonna do some different authors or like some coaches or something like that. There are some coaches, they're just in the same world. And what I mean by that is that they have a crossover. Like the same people will subscribe to their podcasts and have their books and things like that. And when those are cases, you want to layer those together, you'll find you get better results. One thing else is to also exclude buyers or recent leads if needed. Typically, the first few times you do a webinar, I would make sure these are included because these are people that are your fans, right? When they like your ads, when they interact with your ads, it lets Facebook know who are more the ideal clients for you. So at the first few, you may want to include that, but then eventually exclude it as well. So that way now the same people's not seeing your ads 40, 50 times because that can get super annoying, right? The next thing is the audience sweet spot. So if you're going to be doing layered interest, each audience would have about 500K to about 2 million. That's a really great audience to use. That means there's enough of an audience saturation that Facebook is going to be able to match your people better, which can also give you lower costs. So if you combine if you're layering interest and there's one audience that has 250,000, another that has 100, another that has 500, you put all those three together and you're going to create an audience that's going to be more into the sweet spot. Okay. Right now, Facebook, the way it works is that the more free reign you give them, it's actually better for them to be able to find your ideal people more. It can take a little bit longer, but nonetheless, like they have the free reign now to be able to show the ads to the people that they think is the best. And again, they have so much data points they know a lot more than we do. So with a caveat, we do have to also make sure that we're, staying on top of it. And we also know that we're qualifying our leads. We're not just blindly getting leads and hoping they convert. We want to be able to see that these leads are quality. Are they opening up the emails? Are they real people? Things like that. And that's where the post process, the emails that go out, the reminders. If you're doing texting for example, all those things really, really matter now. Okay. Now let's move on to copy. There's three steps for copy that I recommend you have, and then I have a copywriting formula. I'll see the link to video somewhere over here to that, hopefully, and it's up on YouTube, so you can find it. Our copywriting formula is a 5-step formula. If you follow this 5-step formula, it'll dive deeper into this little copy formula I'm giving you here now. So it's a hook, story, call to action. My 5 steps break down the hook a little bit more. It breaks down the story and breaks down the call to action a little bit more, so you can actually get a little more oomph in your messaging. But I want to keep this training simple. So you have your hook, your story, your call to action. Your hook, right? So hooks are like, for example, the first line of your ad copy, and these are going to be about 125 characters. So here's some examples. So what if desired result didn't require common struggle? Now, this will actually, you need to know your ideal client in order to make this work. So, for example, if you're in an accounting niche or things like that, you want to know what is the exact desired results they have. Maybe they want to make sure that their financials are clear to them, right? Um, they want to know they're not losing money, right? Or they're overpaying on taxes, things like that. Um, so like what if filing your taxes didn't require paying, owing a bunch of money or paying a bunch of money or something like that. Just really off the top of my head right now. But nonetheless, these are some examples you can use. You can use a question or statement. So what if dream result was actually simpler than you think, right? So what if getting leads using Facebook ads was actually simpler than you think? Right? Or if you're tired of struggle and want to get desired feelings such as joy, right? So if you're um if you're if you're tired of the organic hamster wheel and you just want consistent lead generation, right? Something like that. You use these here to help your copy convert. Next thing is a story. Story is where you dive more into it now. When we give a hook like this, we want people to relate to us, whether this is our service that we do and we've worked with clients and we can put a story into that. And then finally, you have the call to action, which is just simply letting them know what you want to do, letting them know exactly, saying, "Hey, click below to schedule a call with me. Click below, enter your information, and I will send it over to you." But simply, we just want to give them a call to action. We want to tell them exactly what to do. Click below and sign up now for your free guide. Click below and sign up now for your free training, or something like that. Okay. Next thing is for copy tips. Just use emoji and line breaks. We don't want to typically have ad copy that's bulky and chunky to where it's 5, 6 sentences in one paragraph. As a matter of fact, we don't really want to use a common paragraph structure or 3 to 5 sentences. We want to have each individual line as best, or maybe 1 or 2 sentences most. Okay, you want to make it super skimmable, so where someone who's skimming your ad copy, they're able to know exactly that you understand them, you understand their pain, and they also understand the promise that you're giving them. Okay, we want to keep it mobile friendly. And what I mean by that, mobile friendly, is that um, your copy, people on mobile will skim even more. Okay, so if you have a super long copy, they're going to read the first line, start reading, and then they're just going to scroll past it. So you want to keep that idea in mind, where it's maybe 250 words. We start going into 500 words plus, that's when it can get pretty, pretty long. And this is great for some niches, like especially in life coaching and stuff like that. You want to be able to have more of a story there to be able to tell, if your coaching practice is based off of your life and your experience, to be able to share that story there too as well. Okay. But just keep in mind that people are on mobile, and you know how it is on mobile. If you try to read a book on mobile, sometimes depending on target audience, it may not be something they like to do. So you want to make sure you can have some variety in there, whether it's a short copy, long copy, and add some variety so you can get better results. Okay. Next thing is the creatives, right? And the ad creatives are going to be whether it's video or graphics. And it's some example of top visual style. To face the camera, short videos are absolutely the best. The more you can actually create your ad to be similar to that of a regular reel, regular organic content, you're going to get better videos. Same thing too as well with your graphics. When I say bold quote style graphics, this is where you have the image of yourself, maybe what the training's about, and you have a short sentence, a short headline, or something that's very, very punchy that is big and visible on the image. We don't want to have an image that just has so much text that when you look at it on a small screen like a phone, what ends up happening now is that it's just too small to even see clearly, right? We want to make sure that it's visible. Someone can skim it really quick, and that's going to help you get the better results. The next thing is results and testimonial screenshots. So if you have a Facebook group or a Slack channel and people, and your clients are saying this or saying that, you can screenshot those with their permission, of course, to use those in there. Or if you have results, if you put together a case study, put together a nice case study, make the individual points very big for your audience to see. And this is a top visual style that you can use. One little tip here is to go to Canva, create an Instagram ad or Instagram post, and then go over to your designs or templates and type in, webinar ad. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of different styles. And these are styles that have been professionally created. Just tweak it to your own. And you can be able to get, if you're not a super great designer or you're kind of scared to design, use somebody else's templates. Me and my team, if you work with us, we provide templates if you're going to do your own ad graphics. But, our team does graphics for our clients. So they never really have to worry about that. And we apply some of these top visual styles whenever we're creating graphics. So we give our clients scripts to use for the short videos. And when I say short videos, I mean 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute at the very rare does a client go to 2 minutes when we're working videos, because we've noticed that I run a 2 minute video, the average play rate is 10, 15%. I run a short 30-second video, average play rate is 50, 70, 75%. We're getting more people to actually listen to the full message when we're running a short video than a long video. Something to really think about. All right, let's go here. Next is for creative tips is to use bright contrast. When you're running as a webinar, you want to use bright contrast. Facebook has said in one of a few years ago, was sitting in a presentation, and one of the execs was talking about when they designed the platform and when they looked at it, one of the biggest things is that dark text and light background is the preferred image style. So you want to test this, of course, especially if you have a brand that's just a really dark brand, like the actual main color is more like a dark, like a black or a blue, and your text are light color. That's totally fine. You can still do that. You can see mine right now. It's still dark color with white text. This is totally fine. It gives a bright contrast, and that's okay. But on the flip side of that, if this was white and black, that also gives, just like here, this also gives a real. So this is the most basic level, white and black, right? So just think about your contrast, that images aren't clashing, and then also look at your graphic on your mobile device just as you would an actual ad. Because what happens is that if you do have text on there and things like that, what can end up happening is that on your desktop as you're creating or designing a graphic, it may look great, but once you put on the device, it may not look that great. Okay, so always check it there too as well. The next is to show your face transformation if possible. But again, you don't need to have your face on there if you're like a faceless brand or something like that. Okay. And lastly, use Canva and InShot. This is going to be a DIY besties, allow you to really be able to edit, design very, very quickly, very, very without having to have a lot of knowledge on editing and design, things like that. So you get your captions on there. You can use Canva to get in the right format, whether it's square format or the vertical portrait format, things like that. All right. And next, let's talk about the budget optimization. This is one of the budget optimization strategies we use for our clients. And we use the same thing here again, depending on whatever budget, right? So we start with $10 to $20 a day per campaign or per ad set. So if we're doing 2 to 3 ad sets, that may be like 30 to $60 a day. And you want to have at least 2 or 3 creatives in each. And this gives Facebook the better ability to actually show this to the right people. And we've tested this where we, ran individual ad set, one ad set with one creative, and every single time when we set it up, and the way I'm teaching you right now, it has outperformed just testing a single creative. There's one-offs where it's like, oh, this one graphic, this one video is doing better. But on a general scale, using a campaign budget optimization with 2 to 3 ad sets and 2 to 3 creatives each in those ad sets, you start seeing better results. Now we're letting this run for a good 2 to 3 days. Whenever you set an ad, Facebook goes through the learning process. In this learning process, what ends up happening is that there's a lot of volatility. They may hit it hard and one day you get like 5, 10 leads, and then all of a sudden the next day it's like two or three. They're still learning on there. So you have to give it a good, 2 to 3 days before tweaking. And this is also heavily dependent on the budget. If you're doing $10, $20 a day, or sometimes you may even want to do more, 30, 40, $50 a day. And that's totally fine. Just know that you still will need to let it run for a good 24 to 48 hours before you can even see any tweaks. Another rule of thumb I do is to have the ad be shown for at least 1,000 impressions at a minimum, and that can also give you an idea of how well it's performing. All right. But this is the simple thing here for just for budgeting. You want to start off at this place right here. So if you're doing it yourself and you're like, hey, I just got $500 to spend on this, and I want to test if it's going to work, that's totally fine. There's a lot of clients we work with have done it themselves, use $500 and convert 1 or 2 clients on these live trainings, and that's more than enough to give them a 4 to 5x return on ad spend, and they're able to repeat that process again. All right. So the next thing is you want to know your metrics. And metrics has a lot to do with being able to also help you to manage your budget and optimization. So what exactly is the best cost per lead for you in your business? Okay. So the cost per lead can vary greatly across niches and industries. So I can't really give you specific KPIs unless I know your business. But you want to at least start tracking these metrics, meaning that regardless of who you're comparing yourself to in terms of like your ad results, is that when you set up a campaign, what is your click-through rate and what is your cost per lead? Okay. You want to add this to a spreadsheet every single week so you can know exactly what's happening. I mean, especially when you're running a webinar weekly, or if you're going to be running it every 2 weeks, right? You want to make sure you track this there too. Some other key metrics to note. Let me go back here real quick. Is also going to be your link click-through rate, or your link clicks, because it can also let you know how many people have converted. So, for example, if you have 10 leads out of 100 link clicks, well, that's a 10% conversion rate. And that is something that you want to improve. You want to get that higher. That's an opportunity. That means you're losing 90% of people who are clicking on your ad. And what happened is that they saw your ad, they were interested, but when they get to the page, they're like, nah, not anymore. So there's something there that potentially is deterring them from converting. All right. Now, the other piece here is going to be some troubleshooting. If your CPL is too high, where do you do? You can adjust the creatives. This is a big one here. So if your cost per lead is too high, typically what can happen is that the creative is not getting attention. That the click-through rate, for example, is not getting that minimum of like a 2 to 3% click-through rate. And that just tells you, hey, the video or the graphics is not working that well for that audience or in general. So this is another thing. You could test different audiences with the same creatives. And we've seen this when we tested 4 or 5 different audiences. And I get 2 audiences that work amazing, and the other 3 is like, wow, this is a terrible ad. No, it's not a terrible ad. The audience doesn't really care for it. So you want to tweak that. Now, if those audiences, hey, this is my ideal client, there's something that you have to also tweak. Maybe it's a headline, or when I say adjust the creative, I mean, ad creative is not just the image or the video. It's a combination of the ad copy and everything like that. Okay, so you want to adjust those things. Maybe the hook you're using isn't the right hook. So test a variation of your ad copy where you have ad copy 1 with hook 1, ad copy 2 with hook 2. And the story and the call to action could be the same. It's just the hook that's changing. Okay, so these are a few things you can change. Always, when you're making changes, try to do 1 or 2 changes at a time. If you do too much, what can happen is you don't know exactly what you did to make it, make results improve. So always make sure you do 1 or 2 changes at a time. When we're running accounts, sometimes we do 3 or 4 or 5 because we're able to manage different accounts and know exactly what we're doing. So, again, I want to make this less stressful for you because ads can be pretty tough, especially if you're a life coach, you focus on life coaching. Facebook ads isn't what you're focusing on. You're not like you don't really want to get in there and dive into all these things. So, keep it super, super simple and you're going to be able to see results. A lot of times, simple tweaks outperform massive overhauls. So, simple tweaks is the way to go. All right. So, for just a final recap, what this really comes down to is once you have all these things here, kind of check, 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 it works up. So, your funnel, a good landing page conversion rate on your funnel, people are clicking, signing up, plus good targeting, meaning that the right people are now coming in, ideal clients. You have good copy that you're talking to the right people, and they also know what they're signing up for. My creators are getting really great click-through rate. You're going in with a strong budget strategy and a scaling plan. What ends up happening is boom, it actually works, and you start noticing, hey, I'm getting a lot of leads signing up. My budget is maximized, so I'm getting a ton of leads in my audience that I'm building. People are showing up, their ideal fits, they want what I have to offer, and they're signing up. And you start repeating that process, you start scaling it. You may go from $500 to 800 or 1,000. You know, get it going, scale up slowly. There's really no need to actually go and say, I'm going to go from 500 to all of a sudden, take a credit card out. Let's max out the credit card. You don't have to do that. Okay. Take it smart, take it slow. We don't try to rush the result. What we want to do is develop a system that's repeatable that we can run. We can run a webinar every month, every 2 weeks, every week, even, and be able to get results. Some of our clients will do the best. Run these every week. $500 to $1,000 every week. And what they do is they get a few dozen people to show up, they convert those, and these are high ticket offers, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 offers or more that they're converting where they can give the right information. Someone is able to now, know them, like them, and trust them to convert there. Okay. So I want to invite you if you're like, hey, I want to run a webinar. I just don't really not sure exactly how to go about to doing this in the ad. What I want to do is invite you to a book. It's free 30-minute complimentary strategy call, and we're going to unlock your offers, grow potential, get a personalized Ask the Member action plan. So I'm going to help you to understand how you can attract leads and outgrow churn. We're going to be looking at, what are opportunities you have if you're currently running ads in your ad strategy. If you don't have an ad strategy, you have a marketing strategy, doing things organically. So I'm hoping you are, if you don't have any clients at all, you're not getting any clients coming in at all, this is not a good fit for you. Okay. You want to be generating at least 10 to 15K a month already. And now diving into ads become superchargers for you, right? So my whole thing is to help you break free from overwhelming guesswork and give you clarity on the exact next steps you need to build a scalable system for your business. Okay, so just go to www.arfanhussein.com/start, and or just use the link below in this video, and you'll be able to schedule a free 30-minute call with me. And what we'll do is we'll look at what you have, and then I will give you an opportunity. If it's a good fit to work with us, I'll tell you more about that. If it's not, I'll also tell you that too as well. I'm, part of my human design is I sell it with honesty and integrity, and I can't help myself sometimes. With I will talk you out of a sale before I even talk you into a sale. Especially if I feel it's not a good fit and it's not a win-win situation. Okay, I want to make sure you're primed and everything is right for your business. Okay. So I'm gonna stop my screen share real quick. Let's address you guys here. So again, schedule that free call. And if you find that you're doing ads, you're boosting, or you're trying to figure it on your own, and you're taking different trainings from YouTube, or you purchased a course and you just have more and more questions, this is an opportunity to get your ads handled correctly. We don't just set up and let ads run. What we do is we implement specific strategies to help you grow in your business. All right. So thanks for tuning in today. My name is